Hey, welcome back to another episode of the She's Making an Impact podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Ngom. Today we're talking about money, specifically books about money. And so there are quite a few books that I've read over the past couple years that have made a huge impact on me personally and what we decide to do with the money that we're making from our business and just how we handle things. So I wanted to share those with you, especially right now as we enter a recession. Coronavirus has just, millions unemployed, and it's just madness. And you can see who has, applied the principles from the books that I'm talking about and who hasn't. And there's a lot to learn, and I'm really just pumped to share these with you. Welcome to the She's Making an Impact podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Ngom. I'm an entrepreneur, mom, adventure lover, and creator of Pin with Purpose, the Impact Blogging Academy, and Activate. I went from food stamps and negative $400 in my checking account to a multiple six-figure online business. This is your show to learn from me and other rockstar entrepreneurs how to monetize your passion and live out your purpose. If you're ready to increase your income while making a massive impact on the world, this is the show for you. I'm so pumped you're here. Let's get started. First book that I read back when I was 23 or 24 was The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. And this book, oh my goodness, I wish I applied everything that I learned when I was 23, but it was one of those, I had to read it probably 5 times before I was like, oh, I should probably do that thing that I read. So the things that I learned about in that book is paying off all of your debt, be debt free, which we were able to accomplish. Amen. Huge. When we paid off we had a $12,000 loan to the IRS, and that was I could not wait to get that bad boy paid off. And when it was gone, boom. And we learned about buying cars in cash. And so for the longest time, even now, we don't drive nice fancy cars or anything like that. Back when we read this book, we're like, all right, so we bought a $4,000 car and we drove that around until it was more expensive to fix it than it would be to buy a new car. The cars that we currently drive right now, we have 2 cars. One is a 2007 Chevy Trailblazer, still works great, although the engine light just turned on, so we need to get that fixed. The other car that we have, we just bought it this past year, and it's a 2015, but we got it with 100,000 miles on it and paid in cash. It was $8,000. And that has been just huge. Being able to pay for cars in cash, not have any payments on anything, has been huge. The other thing that I learned from that book is the importance of having an emergency fund. And so as coronavirus happened and just madness and all the stimulus checks are going out, the average American cannot afford to pay for a $500 emergency, which is craziness. And so learning about just obviously spend a lot less than you make, save for a rainy day, have an emergency fund of at least 3 to 6 months of expenses has been game changer. I did his, I think it's called Entree Leadership Program, where it's more geared for people that have a business. And so I did that for a few months. And the biggest thing that I learned from that is to have a business emergency fund. So with all the businesses shutting down after 2 months of not being able to produce an income, you can just see how many businesses don't apply these principles. They don't have 3 to 6 months or a year's worth of operating expenses. And so live a very lean business and move at the speed of cash is another thing that he taught me. And so my husband and I were like, we really want to buy an equestrian property, but to get it up and running, we need to buy this tool and this tool and this tool. And I'm like, whoa. We got to move at the speed of cash. If it's okay if it takes us a couple years to get this built up, but it's I don't want to go $500,000 in debt to make this happen. If we're going to do it, we're going to move at the speed of cash. So biggest takeaways from Total Money Makeover and his business program: have an emergency fund, business emergency fund, crucial, and move at the speed of cash. Next book that I read several years ago, I've actually listened to it and read it, You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. So this book is awesome if you really struggle with money mindset. If you have a bunch of limiting beliefs that you know are keeping you back, and because your business will only grow, you'll only earn so much money as you actually believe to be true. So if you believe that you're capable of earning $1,000 a month in your business, that'll be like the cap. But if you believe that you're capable of earning $1 million or becoming a multimillionaire, then that could be true for you too. But you're not going to earn more than what you believe is true. And so if you're struggling with money mindset and having a bunch of limiting beliefs that are holding you back, highly recommend that one. Next book that I read is The Millionaire Next Door. I don't remember who the author is, but the biggest takeaway from this is that your neighbor, the one who's driving the beat up car, who's not wearing Gucci and like all these designer brands, they probably have more money and are more likely to be a millionaire than the person who is wearing like all the designer stuff and has like a BMW or the fancy cars. I don't even know what brands, like a Lamborghini or something like that, right? And so my husband and I, our goal is to be the millionaire next door. Like I mean, if you look at my clothes, it's nothing fancy. The pants I'm wearing, confession, I've had these since like 2007. And they're so comfortable. And there's a little hole right here, but I'm not getting rid of them. These are like my most comfortable pants that I own. And you can't see them when I'm doing video and it's only from the waist up. So The Millionaire Next Door would be the next book. Next book is Automatic Millionaire. David Botch, I think. I forget. Just look up Automatic Millionaire. Biggest takeaway from this book, automate your investments. And so have it set up. If you open an account with Vanguard, which is what we use and what I would recommend. I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't give financial advice, yada, yada, but we use Vanguard. And you could set it up where like every week, every 2 weeks, every month, you have investments that are already be taking from whatever paycheck that you get, and you can automate that process and pay yourself first before you pay your bills. Huge. Okay. Next book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And so biggest lesson from this book is that there are 4 quadrants, and a lot of people are in the employee quadrant. And so imagine, okay, 4 quadrants. We got employee, small business, big business, investors. Those are the 4 quadrants that he's talking about in the book. Most people are employees and or small business. And when you're in those 2 quadrants, you end up paying the most in taxes and just you get screwed basically when you're in those two categories. If you have a big business and or you're an investor, that's when you get the most tax advantages and you have the opportunity to build the most amount of wealth. And so by reading that book, my husband and I are like, we need to get into this investor category stat. So highly recommend that book as well. Next to Unshakable and Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. Unshakable is an easier read. It's smaller. Money Master the Game is like the playbook of investing. It's a beast. I listened to that like when it first came out, and so much of it was like way over my head. So if you're reading any of these investing books, just know that it gets easier the more you start to read this stuff. Because before I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about. This is another language. Now I actually understand what like an EFT fund is and all the like mid cap and large cap and small cap investments and all these things. I actually get it. I'm like, yes. So I'm learning this language. But those 2 books definitely recommend. Tony Robbins just awesome. And in Money Master the Game, he actually interviews some of the brightest financial minds on the planet and gets exact like what they're investing in, what they would suggest. Really good stuff. Next book, I actually read this when we were on the beach in Senegal a year or 2 ago, a little over a year ago. So it's The Millionaire Maker by Lori Langmeyer. And so through reading this book, she talks about use your business. So it's great to have a business. You should use your business as a money machine to invest in other things like real estate or the stock market. So a lot of times people use their business and they're just trying to earn more money. But you have to actually take money off the table from your business, pay yourself, and then use that money to make other investments like buying a real estate property, putting money in Vanguard, that kind of thing. The last book that I would recommend is The Legacy Journey by Dave Ramsey. Oh, Hello. She's taking a nice nap on me right now. So The Legacy Journey by Dave Ramsey, and this was great. If you struggle with making money as a Christian and you have, these beliefs that making money is evil and all these things, the love of money is the root of all evil. So he really talks about how when you are wealthy, what you can do with that money, how you can create a legacy for yourself and your family, how you can make a greater impact in the world. So those are some of the books that I would highly recommend if you want to learn more about finances, making money, investing money, and again, creating a legacy and being able to make more so you can give more and make a greater impact. So let's recap these books. Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero, The Millionaire Next Door, Automatic Millionaire, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Unshakable, Money Master the Game, The Millionaire Maker, and The Legacy Journey. That's actually 9. 9 books that I would recommend for you. Have you read any of these? If you have, let me know. If you haven't, tag me on Instagram and let me know at She's Making an Impact, or if you're watching this on Facebook Live, comment and let me know what's the first one that you're going to start with, and read it and apply it. Don't be like me and wait years until you actually take action on it. The sooner you take action, the sooner you actually start to see some results from that. Okay, if you haven't yet grabbed my free Pinterest cheat sheet, I can teach you some smart strategies to get more leads into your business with Pinterest. Just go to pinwithrachel.com, and I hope you have an amazing day. I'll talk to you later.